or theatres not being available. Government cannot play with people's lives anymore, Speaker. We cannot allow these delays in procedures and surgeries to become a normal in our province. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. ANC? EFF? Oh, yes.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to condemn strongly the attack of DA MPs after an oversight visit in the Western Cape. It should be very clear that in the interest of our constitutional democracy, no elected representatives should be subject to attempts to prevent them from exercising their oversight and accountability responsibilities, but equally the safety and security of all people. And in the Western Cape, the recent gang violence and the increasing death rates is a matter of particular concern. Thank you.
Thank you. DA? Honourable Member Zingelson.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In his address at his national monologue, President Ramaphosa asked the following questions, and I quote, "Why do so many people live in abject poverty while so many people live in opulence?" Professor William Gumede answered this aptly with a calculation that 100 politically connected cronies, including the President, received 1 trillion rand through BEE, while the average black South African lives in abject poverty. This trillion rand could have put 50,000 rand in the hands of 20 million South Africans to start up small businesses. The President also asked, why do clinics run out of medicine? Again, this is easy to answer in the Free State, where spending 4.5 million rand on a State of the Province address is a greater priority for the Premier than the health of our residents in the Free State. Another question that the President asked is, why do taps run dry? And you can't make up this stuff, Honourable Speaker. The President must be tone deaf and politically blind not to hear and see the years of Auditor General reports that indicate irregular, fruitless and wasteful as well as misplaced expenditure and corruption in our now dysfunctional municipalities in the Free State. The President just has to read the Human Rights Commission report that catalogues the breakdown of basic services in the Free State that they classify as human rights abuses and are ignored by arrogant and corrupt ANC-deployed cadres. The President says that these are some of the questions that we must ask and what we must be prepared to find answers for. Now, in true ANC style, the President will spend 400 million on his national monologue to ask insulting questions to our citizens, which he pretends not to know the answers to, while every citizen in the country, and especially in the Free State, have known the answers to for a long time. The world is laughing at this so-called national dialogue that is a monologue, where the President asks insulting questions. But what is important is that voters in South Africa are not laughing. They are looking forward to the next elections to remove the party that asks stupid questions and to replace it with a party that has a track record of supplying answers. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. ANC. EFF.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and greetings to honourable members. Speaker, allow us as EFF to take a moment to express our heartfelt condolences on our passing of our esteemed colleague, Mr. Mkhabela. As EFF, we also say, may his soul rest in peace. Speaker, another issue that I experienced, I'm from Kwakwa over the past weekend, Speaker. The problem that I experienced there is a big one, it's still a water. That experience, it's been for a long time. And it's more very painful during the people who's having the funeral arrangement. I just want to know where is that this problem will be really resolved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. DA?
Thank you, Speaker. The DA has been at work developing a people-centered plan to kickstart economic growth in the country and our province. While after years in government, the President asked stupid questions about why our people are living in abject poverty, the DA continues to provide answers. The DA's 6-point plan to a roadmap to economic recovery and job creation. First one, removing job-killing policies and laws, removing regulatory roadblocks, overhauling race-based empowerment schemes, and creating an enabling environment for investment, entrepreneurship, and job creation. 2, creating energy wealth, fixing South Africa's energy crisis by creating a competitive electricity market and unlocking energy exports to create an affordable and reliable electricity supply that promotes economic growth and job creation. 3, saving our network industries, turning around our failing railways, ports, and digital infrastructure to restore South Africa's position as a competitive, connected, and modern economy. 4, spending for growth, refocusing public expenditure and productive investments, eliminating waste and bailouts, and supporting sustainable pro-growth public finances. 5, from dysfunctional to delivering municipalities, turning collapsing municipalities into functioning centers of service delivery by stabilizing coalitions, professionalizing administrations, unlocking investment, and devolving powers to capable local governments. 6, investing the crime epidemic, cracking down on organized crime and corruption, professionalizing policing, and decentralizing public safety to capable provinces and municipalities. We cannot afford to hold conferences and talk shops to try and address the economic crisis the country, and in particularly the Free State, is experiencing. The only thing we have to do is to implement these plans. Thank you, Speaker.
ANC? DA? DA? ANC? Statement by members shall not exceed 3 minutes per member, and matters to be raised must be of public importance. At the conclusion of statements by members, a member of the Executive Council present may be given an opportunity to respond for not more than 3 minutes to any statement directed to that member of the Executive Council or made in respect of that member of the Executive Council's portfolio. Are there any statements by members? None. We shall now proceed to the reports by committees, and there are: 1, report of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Health, and Social Services to the Free State Legislature with regard to second quarterly non-financial reports of the Department's Health, Education, and Social Development. 2, a report of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Health, and Social Services to the Free State Legislature with regard to annual non-financial reports for 2023-2024 financial year of the Department of Education, Health, and Social Development. 3, a report of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Health, and Social Services to the Free State Legislature with regard to the third quarterly non-financial reports for 2023-2024 of the Department of Social Development, Health, and Education. The report, that is 4, of the Committee on Budget and Oversight to the Free State Legislature with regard to the mid-year budget and performance assessment report for 2024-2025 financial year. 5, the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Economic Development, Small Businesses, Sport, Arts and Culture to the Free State Legislature with regard to the third quarterly non-financial reports for 2024-2025 financial year of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sports, Arts and Culture, and Recreation, Economic Development, Tourism, Environmental Affairs, and Small Businesses and Entities. 6th, the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Economic Development, Small Business, Sports, Arts and Culture to the Free State Legislature with regard to the annual non-financial reports for 2023-2024 financial year of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Economic Development and Small Business, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. 7, the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Economic Development, Small Businesses, Sports, Arts and Culture to the Free State Legislature with regard to the second quarter non-financial reports for 2024-2025 financial year of the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture and Recreation, the Department of Economic Development, Small Business, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. The report, that's 8, the report of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Economic Development, Small Business, Sports, Arts and Culture to the Free State Legislature with regard to the fourth quarterly non-financial reports for 2024-2025 financial year of the Departments of Agriculture and Rural Development, Department of Sports, Arts and Culture and Recreation, as well as Department of Economic Development, Small Businesses, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. 9, the report of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Infrastructure, Roads and Transport, and Human Settlements to the Free State Legislature with regard to the third quarterly non-financial reports for 2024-2025 financial year of the Departments of Public Works and Infrastructure, Department of Human Settlement and Community Safety, Roads and Transport. A report of the Portfolio Committee, that's 10, on Public Works, Infrastructure, Roads, Transport and Human Settlements to the Free State Legislature with regard to the fourth quarterly non-financial reports for 2024-2025 financial year of the Departments of Public Works and Infrastructure, Human Settlement and Community Safety, Roads and Transport. 11, the report of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Infrastructure, Roads, Transport and Human Settlements to the Free State Legislature with regard to the second quarterly non-financial reports for 2024-2025 financial year of the Departments of Public Works and Infrastructure. 12, the report of the Committee on Petitions to the Free State Legislature regarding the petition of T.P. Budure versus Mkhabela Local Municipality, the Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, and the South African Police Services. The report of the Committee on Petitions, that's number 13, to the Free State Legislature regarding the petition of Henenman Farmers Union versus South African Police Services and the Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport. 14, the report of the report of Committee on Petitions to the Free State Legislature regarding the petition of residents of Mkhabela versus Mkhabela Local Municipality. Number 15, the report of the Committee on Petitions to the Free State Legislature regarding the petition of residents of Ordinance Rest versus Mkhabela Local Municipality. Number 16, the report of the Committee on Petitions to the Free State Legislature regarding the petition of residents of Heideda Union versus South African Police Services and Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport. I will request the Chair of Chairs to table the reports jointly and address the House on the reports.
Speaker, I request to table the reports. I request permission to table the reports.
Any objection? Honourable member may table the reports. Listen that. When does the honourable member propose the reports to be considered?
Now, Honourable Speaker.
Any discussion? Any objection? Approved. The honourable member may address the House on the reports.
Speaker, thanks for the opportunity. We, on behalf of the portfolio committees of the legislature in the Free State, jointly tabling about 16 reports from various committees. As indicated, these are quarterly reports, annual reports, mid-year budget report, as well as annual assessment report. And all of them are non-financial reports. We wish to indicate that 5 of the 16 are petitions committee reports. It is indicated there. The petitioners and the petitee who must respond to the issues as raised contained in the reports is the recommendations for which there must be responses for all those concerns. Critical department under your commandership, Honorable Premier, we have taken a decision to upscale our work on oversight. And we think that it will be futile if resolutions of these reports adopted at properly and legally constituted portfolio committee meetings are not responded to, Honorable Speaker, and we're emphasizing serious premium on that requirement, that moving forward, these responses will be demanded, Honorable Premier, through you, Speaker. And we request that all reports as tabled jointly be adopted by the House. Thank you.
What does the honourable member propose?
I propose that all the reports as tabled be adopted by the House.
Any discussion? Any objection? I hope that members of this legislature understand fully that what they are adopting, and this will be followed by the Speaker to ensure that it is implemented. And so all the reports that have been adopted here today will be followed up.
They're not here,
The reports of the committee as tabled are adopted by the House.
No, we can make a request.
Before we proceed to interpellations, I wish to remind the House that this matter is regulated by Rule 45 to 48 of the Standing Rules and Orders. The interpellation has been circulated to all honorable members, including the relevant member of the Executive Council. As per Rule 46, the following procedure will unfold. 1, the member of the Executive Council responsible shall review the interpellation in a speech not exceeding 3 minutes. The interpellant shall respond to the member of the Executive Council's reply in a speech not exceeding 3 minutes. In the remainder of the allotted 15 minutes, the member of the Executive Council and other members may speak for up to 2 minutes at a time, provided that the member of the Executive Council shall be restricted to 2 such additional turns to speak, including an opportunity to reply to the debate.
Honorable Roy Jankelson, Democratic Alliance, asks the Honorable MEC responsible for Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Ms. Nsafuba. In view of the MEC's decision to remove the delegated authority from the HOD related to Makufe, 1, what was the reason for this and how will it affect Makufe? 2, have any tenders been advertised for service providers for the festival? A, if not, Roman numeral 1, why not? And numeral 2, when will this be done? B, if so, have all legal requirements been followed? If not, why not? If so, what were the relevant time frames? Who is the main organizer of the event? And who are the other service providers? Question 3, which artists have indicated that they will perform at Makufe? At what cost per respective artist?
The honourable member is not here, is not present, is absent. The honourable member Jankelson.
Honourable Speaker, I'm not sure what you want me to say. The honourable member isn't here, and unfortunately, this is becoming a habit for the honourable MEC, because when we had our committee meeting last year, she was on the virtual platform and said she's not prepared for the meeting, so the meeting couldn't continue that we'd prepared. So this seems to be a habit of the MEC, and it is a concern. Makufe is a concern for the whole, and people want answers to the questions which we've asked. They want to know, is Makufe going on? Isn't it continuing? What are the costs of it, etc.? Because Makufe in the past has been out of controversy, and it is time that perhaps we look at privatizing Makufe, etc. Also, when the Honourable MEC was Speaker of the Legislature, that she centralised the authority of her office and she took decisions which had an effect on the legislature, its members and its staff. And it seems she's repeating this in her office as MEC as well. Further concern. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, Chief Whip, saying that it's actually becoming a challenge, actually. When we have sittings, members of the Executive Council have programs, knowing that the program is adopted far ahead. And this behavior should not be tolerated, Chief Whip. Are there members who will continue without, and this matter shall now be referred to the Ethics Committee. The Ethics Committee would have the absenteeism of all the members who are not in the sitting today. I hope the chairperson of the Ethics Committee takes this matter seriously. The House shall be presented with a report in the next sitting of the House. Shall be presented with a report on the extent of the reasons why these members have absented themselves in the manner and the decision of the legislature a day before the sitting. And that makes it very difficult for us to reconcile all these. And we should actually consider in the rules to ensure that questions are responded to 48 hours before the sitting, and any other matter that comes after that shall actually be responded to in the House, even if the member has responded. It cannot, we cannot go on that a question will be asked and then time given, and then we do not have answers. The next issue also is the limitation of questions, so that we don't have members of the Executive Council spending the rest of their time responding to a plethora of questions. So we need really to be very sensitive in dealing with this question, but that will be determined by the Rules Committee and will come here. Honourable Member Van Vuren.
Thank you, Speaker. Yeah, I think you've addressed the matter that, I mean, this is an old question. I mean, it's not 10 days back and not answered then. I mean, this was a long time ago. The Honourable MEC just disregarded the question. I haven't received it yet. It might be somewhere in the system. And what's also a problem for me, Speaker, is this question or the internal question paper that we received that says it's not answered or it's answered. There's no dates on it when I submitted this. I think that should also be captured so that we've got a true reflection on it. How long back I actually submitted this question and how long it took the MEC to respond on this. But I mean, it's ridiculous. We try to manage this and we actually help, and we don't force it down. It's a rule that has to be abided by, but it just doesn't happen. I mean, it's, yeah, again, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. I think we support the direction that the Speaker has given, that these matters be referred to the Rules and Orders Committee. I think you have captured all of the essence of the delays in the responses, the limitation on number of questions asked. There's also the matter of the period during which the response is supposed to be submitted. In many instances, information is provided to us as MECs. It's not just a matter of signing off. There's been recent cases that I have sent back responses that I've received from officials 2 or 3 times because I know the information is not correct. But what we do then usually is to inform the relevant member to say we know that there's a response outstanding. So perhaps we should also look at improving our internal communication so that there's not a vacuum and no one knows what is going on. But I think we support that the matter gets referred back to the Rules Committee. Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, thanks very much. Let me also assure the House that yesterday it's only when we get the ordering number of other questions that we were told they are remaining. But my questions that were sent to me, I think 7 days, 8 days ago, they were answered for. I also said I've got the response that I've sent to the 2 HODs because I'm responsible for 2 departments and 2 departments were questioned. But I've also requested the administration from legislature and the PLO to come so that they can then reconcile. I think the dates they will show you once we have reconciled that these questions were long answered. It's not only for today. The only thing that I received only yesterday that I will still have to respond to I think it's 5 questions that are remaining. Even today, I requested the HOD to talk to the acting secretary of the House about the same issue, that can you please assured us that we have really submitted the answers, when and why are these questions being repeated here. But what I also want to take as a counsel is that maybe we also need to get that on time. If we receive information on time, we'll be able to receive on time. But there's no way that I will just ignore or set aside questions which I know that they help us to account, because we take accountability as one of the cornerstone of democracy. I've always availed myself to this House, to the Portfolio Committee. There's no way that I will rush away, run away from answering questions. If I don't have answers, I will come here and say, I don't have an answer on this one. Can I be given time? And this is what I've done in the past. Thank you.
Honourable members, the Auditor General has over some time now raised issues on the accountability ecosystem of the institutions that are collapsing. and that the legislature and all those who are responsible should make sure that this is restored. And we made a commitment to the Auditor General that we will ensure that all members of the Executive Council, all institutions, all municipalities shall be held accountable, and part of holding the executive accountable is interpellations, questions for oral reply, and all those things. And all of us will do a good service to the people of the Free State by demonstrating that we understand and we appreciate the fact that we have to play this role and respond accordingly. And we will then take all these issues in the Rules Committee, make sure that we tighten up all these issues and close all these gaps, because there are some gaps that are clearly there, but also the administration in terms of reconciling all these and making sure that there is a proper record of these questions, because there are a number of questions that have not been answered, and there's no proper reconciliation in the, administratively, and I think this is something that we need to correct and make sure that it is available so that all parties are given questions that are answered. Relevant members who ask questions, these questions do not stay with the institution, and they are sent to members who have asked such questions, and this is recorded accordingly and appropriately. And this would actually avoid this kind of a situation which creates a very unfortunate scene that we are not serious about our responsibilities and turning this into a circus. And I think it stops today, and we do the right thing moving forward. And I hope that this matter would be followed up thoroughly. Now, I wonder if there is any need for us to be asking these questions and only to be told that they have been answered. Can we, members, follow this so that at least we have everything, so that we don't just do this and ask questions and all those things? Let me get, if all other questions have been responded to, the question 3. There's no response on that. Then the MEC must respond. Question 3.
Maybe I should first read the question. Honourable Jenkinson, Democratic Alliance asks the Honourable MEC responsible for finance and Estia, Mr. K. Makume, in view of the MEC's divulgement of so-called toll gates, in which service providers are forced to pay bribes before payments are made by the provincial government, and an admission that this amounts to corruption. 1. Who are the alleged individuals identified in this practice? B. In which respective departments? And C. What are their respective positions? Question 2. Have any criminal charges been lodged against any individuals mentioned in 1? If not, why not? And B, when will this be done? If so, C, against whom respectively? And D, what are the relevant case numbers in each case? That's question.
Honourable MEC.
Honourable Speaker, the same about this one. The question was answered. I even know how it was answered. If Honourable Jenkinson is comfortable, I can refer to how it was responded to, the question, and if the Honourable Speaker so allows. But I know that the question has been responded to.
Okay. I'm allowing you.
I'm allowing, okay. The issue of the toll gates, there's no specific case that was lodged, because people were alleging particularly beneficiaries of the incentive supports, they did not want to open cases. What we do, we advise them to open cases against officials that they were alleging that they are asking for bribe. We only have one case, which was at one of the entity, the FSGLT, which was also involving the police in the area of Bethlehem. But unfortunately, the official was charged by the police and ultimately passed on. May his soul rest in peace. And his name is Ntate Pudi. He was an official of the FSGLTA. But what we have done as the department, we have introduced the application online to avoid this toll gate issue. The application online were opened on the 10th of July, and then they were closed on the 21st of July. In my interaction with the department and the premier after the applications were received, we have decided that from Monday we'll also open for another 10 days to allow people to apply. What happens is that these people were alleged to ask for bribes, particularly when you bring your application officially to physically to an officially in the department, because they will start to interact with you. Then they start to ask such bribes. But unfortunately, these people who are affected are unable to say it's official so-and-so and official so-and-so. But the delay in the system will have confirmed that indeed there was this untoward happenings. But for us to just cover the whole system, we then resorted to an application online, which is also in line with the support system. Thank you.
Honourable Member Jagonsen.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. It is a concern when an MEC in his speech makes these allegations of bribes that are taking place within the department, and then to inform us that there's only one case. That looks a lot like grandstanding here in the legislature. But it is a very serious issue, and I want to remind the MEC that the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act number 12 of 2004 indicates that if you are aware of a criminal activity of that nature, you are compelled to report it to law enforcement agencies, otherwise you yourself are guilty of an offence. So we would request that the MEC investigates these allegations and ensures that those officials from whom bribes were offered, or to whom bribes were offered, are forced to go and make those cases, or they themselves must be charged. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank
you. We are noting the request, colleagues, but I think we also need to be practical. In meetings where we have stakeholder engagements and people will make these allegations, the first thing that we are to ask as responsible members of this House is to ask as to whether have you opened a case. And in a situation where an alleged person or the person who's making allegation says to us, I can't open a case because I know for sure that this will be my last application. So that's where the problem is. But I take the advice that the best way to deal with this is also to institute investigations so that we can get to the root. I know that there are some internal investigations, particularly where there was an issue about pricing. So there are internal investigations which the HOD was still busy with. But up until you've got that information, we'll then come back to the House. But I also know about the Act, which we are referring us to. Only if I know about the corrupt activities. In this case, I only have allegations. I had to report these allegations here because we're trying to change the system to avert those allegations completely. Thank you.
There's question 4 and question 5. All of these, question 4 and question 5, relate to the Honour Member Mokoena, who's not here. They will stand down and then follow the process that we indicated earlier. Then there is question 6. Question 6.
Honourable Werner Pretorius, Democratic Alliance, asks the Honourable MEC responsible for finance and Destia, Mr. K. Makume, in view of the various forms of assistance provided by provincial treasury to local governments in the Free State to improve the state of financial governance and management under Programme 5, Municipal Finance Management for the 24-25 financial year. Question 1, what assistance was provided to local municipalities under Programme 5 and what was the extent of the assistance provided? Please provide a detailed breakdown per sub-program. 2, what was the total amount budgeted versus the amount spent on this assistance per sub-program? 3, what were the specific objectives of the assistance provided and what measurable impact has been recorded as a result per sub-program? 4, if funds were not fully spent on any sub-projects under Programme 5, A, what amounts were not spent? B, what were the reasons for the underspending? C, what challenges were encountered in spending these funds? Please provide a full breakdown. Question 5, what systems will the department implement to ensure that funding is fully spent and assistance is effectively provided in the 25-26 financial year under the program? 6, has the department identified financial mismanagement hotspots in local governments across the Free State? If so, A, what are the key contributors to financial mismanagement that have been identified? And B, if not, why has this assessment not been conducted? Question 7, if financial governance and management challenges have been identified, what interventions have been implemented by the department to assist local governments in overcoming these challenges? 8, has the department conducted benchmarking in other provinces or research to determine best practices for assisting local governments with financial governance and management? If not, why not? Question 9, where local governments are not cooperating with provincial treasury in financial assistance efforts, A, what mechanisms are available to address this non-cooperation? B, are these mechanisms effective? C, if not effective, what possible solutions has provincial treasury identified to address ineffective mechanisms? And D, what coordination efforts are taking place between provincial treasury and the Free State Department of COCTA regarding assistance to local governments?
Honourable MEC.
Honourable Speaker, this is one of the questions which we really want, or we support you for referring it to the committee that you said it must really make a follow-up on these ones, because it's one of those that we have also responded to. Unfortunately, I don't have it here, this one, like the one that Entailed Chapter said, but it's one of those questions that we know that we have responded to.
The honourable member who has asked the question.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. Yes, Chair, I think this question is a very crucial question because it relates to asking the department what is its blueprint for assisting the financially distressed municipalities in this province. So it really is a critical question that needs to be answered, not vaguely, but in detail, as to provide us with a plan going forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We will ensure that we follow up on all these questions. The MEC is stating here that they've been responded to, and we will follow up that and ensure that this is so indeed. The Honourable, the MEC will also make sure that once these issues are responded to and you send such, so that you also make some follow-up to make sure that this does not happen again. Let's go to question 7.
Honourable Dave van Vuren, Democratic Alliance, asks the Honourable MEC responsible for Destia, Mr. K. Makume, in view of the Free State Legislature's PROPAC decision to refer the irregular expenditure incurred at Pakisa Raceway to the Special Investigation Unit in 2004, 4 questions. 1, was the former CEO, Mr. Bobby Hartsliff, A, investigated as proposed, and B, charged? 2, if not, why not? 3, if so, A, what is the relevant case number? And B, what were the outcomes of this? 4, in view of the reports that Mr. Hartsliff is currently back in the country and residing in the Free State, has any actions been taken against him? If not, why not? If so, what are the relevant details?
Honourable MEC.
Honourable Speaker, the same way in which I requested with that one, I would really want us to refer this question to that.
Can I ask, while you're standing, let me see. There are many, oh no, that's the only one now left. Honourable Member van Vuren. All right. Yeah. Question 9.
Honourable Werner Pretorius, Democratic Alliance, asks the Honourable MEC responsible for finance and Destia, Mr. K. Makume.
Can I ask, sorry, if the 9 is still going to be the same, let's leave that so that we don't repeat that. Can we go to question 10? Honourable Member Matlatsi, are you going to respond the same way? Oh,
May I
ask the question. Let's get the question.
Honourable D. Masiu, Democratic Alliance, asks the Honourable MEC responsible for health, Mr. M. Maslachi, in view of the administration of the HPV vaccine in the Free State, 6 questions. 1, when did the department begin administering the HPV vaccine? Please provide the number of administered vaccines in each year. 2, how many HPV vaccines have been administered in schools to date from the start of the program? Question 3, have any HPV vaccines been administered in healthcare facilities? If yes, how many? If not, why not? Question 4, how many eligible individuals have been identified for the HPV vaccine and how many of those have been vaccinated to date? 5, what measures is the department implementing to educate the public and promote the uptake of HPV vaccine? And 6, what strategies is the department using to address and reduce vaccine hesitancy among residents of the Free State?
Honourable Member Matlatsi.
Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. Can I just indicate, Honourable Speaker, that in front of me here, I have a document that responds to 29 questions coming from the House. And I'm just waiting for verification on 2 so that I can sign them off. But in relation to the question that has been asked, I have
A question, and that question has been put forward to yourself. Can you then respond to that question?
Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. In relation to question 1, when did the department begin administering HPV? We started in 2014, and this is the breakdown of our performance. In 2022, we have provided stats from 2022. And in 2022, we had, remember the HPV is targeting learners in grade 5 and 6. And in 2022, we had legible learners who were 27,253, of which we vaccinated 22,229, which represents 81%. And the total number of grade 5 learners were 27,178. In 2023, we had 26,919 legible, and we vaccinated 23,417, which represents 87%. 2024, there were 26,972. We vaccinated 24,169, which represent 90%. In all, our performance ranges at around 90%. The second question, how many HPV vaccines have been administered in school to date from the start of the program? From 2022 until now, we have vaccinated 144,084 learners who have been vaccinated. Have any HPV vaccines been administered in healthcare facilities? If yes, how many, and if not, why? The response, no. The HPV vaccine campaign is currently implemented as a school-based program. Since 2014, 2 doses of the vaccine were administered to grade 4 girl learners. However, in 2021, the target group was changed to grade 5 girl learners. In 2024, a single dose of the HPV vaccine was introduced to grade 5 and 7 girl learners and independent private schools. Question 4, how many eligible individuals have been identified for HPV vaccine, and how many of those have been vaccinated to date? From 2022 to 2025, 139,382. Vaccinated, 144,084. Question 5, what measures is the department implementing to educate the public and promote the uptake of HPV vaccine? Number 1, social media outreach, HPV radio talk shows, national and local radio stations, awareness campaigns taking primary health care to the people, parental involvement, consent forms are distributed to the parents before commencement of the campaign through the integrated school health program, and parents are encouraged to participate in information sessions. Health education, the integrated school health program teams attend parents' meeting and advocate for HPV vaccination and educate about its benefit. Monitoring and evaluation of the HPV performance following the campaign. Question 6, what strategies is the department using to address and educate vaccine hesitancy amongst residents in the Free State? Number 1, enhance community engagement and parental involvement. The school health teams are involved in parents' meeting to provide comprehensive information about the HPV vaccine and addressing the myths. The IEC health education leaflet is given to the parents for more information on frequently asked questions on HPV. School collaboration. The Department of Health works very close with school governing bodies, school-based support teams, principals and teachers to advocate for HPV vaccination. Parents are called by educators as they are trusted source of information influencing parents' decisions positively when they refuse to consent, when they refuse or are hesitant to consent. Just a correction of the latter part. The next point, community awareness campaign during taking primary health care to the people. Communities educated on HPV campaign, and parents are encouraged to sign the consent form. Social media platforms, national and local radio stations. Lastly, training of the healthcare workers before commencement of the campaign. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Seeing that the honourable member is not here, any member who has been given the task to act on his behalf? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Chair. We note the oral reply, but we do also understand then that we will be receiving that very shortly in a written format. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The Senate shall read a motion
that leave be granted for introduction of the Free State Community Policing Bill, B3 of 2024.
Honourable Member Dr. Jackelson.
Speaker, I move.
Any discussion? Any objection? Leave granted. The honourable member may table the Free State Community Policing Bill B3-2024. The acting secretary shall read the bill for the first time.
Free State Community Policing Bill, B3 of 2024.
The honourable member may present an introductory speech on the private member's bill.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'm very grateful that this bill has eventually seen the light of day, because I submitted it the first time in this legislature during the 5th administration. I submitted it again to the Speaker in the 6th administration, and I'm grateful that it is now being discussed in the 7th administration, and that I have an opportunity to introduce this bill to the legislature. Honourable Speaker, as I was driving to the legislature this morning, I was listening to the 7 o'clock news, and the Minister of Police is quoted as saying that he has requested provinces to play a greater role in policing and to see how they can assist with policing at a provincial level. So it is apt that this introduction of this bill takes place today in light of what the National Minister has already said. Speaker, the Free State Community Policing Bill seeks to develop and introduce provincial oversight models in respect to the police in compliance with the constitutional mandate of provinces to monitor police conduct and to oversee the effectiveness and efficiency of the South African Police Service in the province. An effective and efficient police service will achieve increased levels of safety and an open society that is free from fear of crime. The functions of oversight are, in terms of the bill, focused on detecting patterns and practices of police conduct, identifying systemic failures in the police system, and making recommendations on how best to improve policing in the Free State Province. The oversight functions in respect to the monitoring of police conduct and assessment of the police service are also addressed in the bill. The manner in which the province addresses complaints received from communities about police inefficiency will be significantly enhanced through the introduction of the Provincial Police Ombudsman, who is duly empowered by the bill to effectively address such complaints. The Ombudsman will also be tasked to investigate any breakdown in the relations between the police and the community. The introduction of an integrated information system will enable the province to collect information to be considered by the provincial executive in determining the policing needs and priorities that exist within the province. The intention is to move away from the current practice of determining policing needs primarily on the basis of crime statistics and to approach a more holistic understanding of policing needs based on information obtained in partnership with communities, civil society, other spheres of government, businesses, and the like. The bill supports the development and establishment of partnerships with the business community and other role players, and the accreditation and support of neighborhood watches aimed at increasing capacity for innovation, cooperation, and the development of safety initiatives to promote good relations between the police and communities. The bill will address other aspects such as the reporting to the provincial member of the Executive Council by the Provincial Commissioner of the South African Police Services in line with the Constitution. The legislative mandate given to the provincial member of the Executive Council in Section 19(1), 21 and 21(1) of the South African Police Service Act, enabling the provincial member of the Executive Council to issue directives for the establishment of community police forums and boards, is amplified in the bill in order to promote good relations between the South African police services and communities. In the spirit of the Constitution, the bill reiterates the principles of cooperative government and intergovernmental relations in general, and more specifically between the Civilian Secretariat and the province. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. What does the honourable member propose?
Honourable Speaker, that the bill be referred to the Committee on Cooperative Governance and Office of the Premier.
Any discussions? Any objection? Approved. The bill stands referred to the Committee on Cooperative Governance and Office of the Premier for consideration and report back to the House. We now proceed to the Speaker's orders. Honourable members, on the 9th of August, South Africa commemorated a historic moment that shaped the nation's journey towards equality and justice. Women's Day is not merely a date on the calendar. It is a powerful reminder of the bravery, the resilience, and the determination of more than 20,000 women who, in 1956, marched to the Union buildings in Pretoria. These women stood united against the oppressive past laws that restricted the movement of black South Africans under apartheid. The 2025 Women's Month is anchored on the theme as determined by the Ministry in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disability. The theme, Building Resilient Economies for All. The debate, as agreed by multi-party whips committee, shall be allocated 60 minutes. I now call upon the Honourable Member Manje to resume the debate.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, Honourable Premier, Member Queen Litsoa Matai, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, ladies and gentlemen. Honourable Speaker, the strategy and tactics documents of the ANC of 2017 recognizes that amongst the primary contradictions which the National Democratic Revolution must resolve are the legacies of apartheid colonialism, super-exploitation, and patriarchy. It must be noted, Honourable Speaker, that women are counted amongst the motive forces necessary for the advancement of the NDR. Gender equality, women empowerment, and non-sexism are enriched in the founding documents of the ANC. The Freedom Charter declares on the issue of gender gap pay that men and women of all races shall receive equal pay for equal work. Honourable Speaker, the principle of 50-50 representation in all ANC because of their central role they played in liberating this country. These heroines did not merely play a supporting role to men, but acted as conscious and militant force of liberation struggle, even sacrificing their own lives so that we could be free today. Heroines such as Mam Charlotte Maxeke, Sophia DeBrain, Ruth Mompati, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Albertina Sisulu, Adelaide Tambo, Victoria Mxenge, Lilian Goy, Helen Joseph, Amina Kachalia, Aida Mtwana, Ruth First, and Rihanna Musa, to name just a few. Accordingly, any process which consciously and unconsciously undermines the full emancipation of women is fundamentally hostile to our objectives of building a South Africa that is democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, and which truly belongs to all. Honorable Speaker, clearly then, it is important for all of us as South Africans to answer the question whether we are doing enough to build South Africa that truly belongs to all, whether we have made any progress with regards to the issues of emancipation and empowerment of women. This year is also a significant year in the geopolitical landscape as it marks 30 years anniversary, as we mark 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration, which emanated from the Watershed Beijing Conference in 1995. When 189 governments agreed to ratifying the Beijing Platform of Action, addressing 12 areas of concerns, which includes advancing women's rights and empowering women globally, amongst others. On the 8th of December in the same year, the UN General Assembly, on its 6th plenary meeting, adopted the resolution to endorse the Beijing Platform of Action. The resolution is universally recognized as the world's most comprehensive visionary plan ever created to achieve the equal rights for all women and girls. Honorable Speaker, it is an honor and privilege to stand before you today as we celebrate Women's Month under the theme, Building Resilient Economies for All, meaning empower her. This theme is not just a slogan, it is a call to action. It reminds us that when we empower a woman, we empower a community, a nation, and generations to come. In South Africa, our history shows us that women have always been resilient and encompassing strength in each part of their lives. From the 20,000 women who marched to the Union buildings in 1956 to say, Watinta bafazi, watinti bokot. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. To the countless women leaders in the business, in science, in politics, in sports today, South African women have always been at the center of transformation. Yet empowerment cannot be symbolic. It must translate into real opportunities, real choices, and real progress. Honorable Speaker, allow me to unpack how the ANC-led government has played a significant role in changing the lives of women of this country. Honorable Speaker, in education and skills development, education is the first pillar of empowerment. Today, more South African women than men graduate from universities. This is a remarkable shift, but we must ensure that women are not only present in classrooms, but also equipped with skills for the future digital literacy, including entrepreneurship, science, and innovation. Initiatives like coding programs for young girls, scholarships in STEM fields, and vocational training in trades that were once male or dominated are now breaking the barriers. When we educate a girl, we don't just change her future, we change the future of her family, her community, and her country. It doesn't stop there. Entrepreneurship and economic participation. Honorable Speaker, the South African economy is filled with opportunities for women to lead as entrepreneurs. The small business sector in particular is a growing space where women can thrive. Government programs, development finance institutions, and private sector initiatives are increasingly focusing on women businesses. Digital platforms and e-commerce have lowered the barriers of entry for women to start and grow businesses even from rural and township settings. Imagine the power of empowering her or empower her. If every woman owns business, receiving the right mentorship, access to markets, and fair funding, this will not only just uplift her, but it would uplift the economy as a whole. Going further into leadership and representation spaces, South Africa stands out on the continent for its progress in political representation. Women make up nearly half of our parliament, but empowerment does not stop there, it goes beyond parliament. We need more women in boardrooms, in executive levels, in universities as professors, in laboratories as leading scientists, on construction sites as engineers, and on farms as commercial farmers. Similarly, we have to work together in all sectors of business to ensure women representation is the order of the day. We should work closely with our compatriots in business so that together we can move away from the old boys club mentality that results in exclusion of women from position in top positions and senior management, and give women the opportunity to utilize their God-given talent and expertise to drive the economy forward. Honorable Speaker, empowerment means ensuring women's voice are heard in every decision-making spaces where the future is shaped. In the technology and innovation spaces, we are living in a digital space, Honorable Speaker. Technology can either widen inequality or be used to empower or as a powerful equalizer. For women in South Africa, technology opens doors. Online learning platforms allow women, even in remote villages, to access world-class education. Mobile banking and fintech innovations are helping women to save, invest, and run businesses without relying on traditional banking systems. Social media has given women new ways to advocate, connect, and market their own ideas globally. The challenge is to ensure that women are not just consumers of technology, but creators, innovators, and leaders in the digital economy. Honorable Speaker, the Free State Province remains an agricultural province, and agriculture remains our economic driver. As South Africa transitions towards sustainable and green economy, there are new opportunities for women in agriculture, renewable energy, and environmental protection. Women have long been custodians of land and food security at the household level. Now, with the right support, they can be leaders in commercial agriculture, agri-tech, and sustainable farming. The renewable energy sector, for solar to wind, offers jobs and entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial opportunities where women can thrive if given access. Honorable Speaker, in sports, arts, and culture, we have done very well. South African women are shining on the world stage, from Banyana qualifying for FIFA Women's Cup to women authors, musicians, and visual artists shaping our culture. These platforms not only provide careers, but also redefine narrative about what women can do and achieve. Honorable Speaker, supporting women in creative and sport industries means amplifying their talent, building national pride, and inspiring the next generations. Of course, it does not go without challenges. While opportunities exist, we must acknowledge the barriers. Honorable Speaker, gender-based violence remains the ugly face of patriarchy because of patriarchal controls over women's lives and bodies. Gender-based violence continues to rob women of their dignity, safety, and potential. It is unacceptable that women of our nation are raped, murdered, assaulted at an alarming rate. This state of affairs goes against the founding values of our constitutional democracy, which is built on human rights, human dignity, and equality for all. Honorable Speaker, we encourage women to stand up for their rights and free themselves from abusers by taking a bold step of breaking the silence about abuse. Our government, through National Strategic Plan, is ensuring a concerted effort in fighting gender-based violence and femicide. It has ensured dedicated funding to combat GBVF and the enactment of key strategic legislation to protect survivors of gender-based violence and ensure that perpetrators are no longer able to use legislative loopholes to evade prosecution. We are also painfully aware of the number of women who stay in abusive relationships because of poverty and financial dependency. We should therefore redouble our efforts to advance the economic empowerment of women by continuing to make gender equality an imperative. Today, during this month, which is Women's Month, we must renew our pledge to realize our vision of non-sexist and non-racial society in which women are equal and active partners in building our province and the country at large. Amongst others, access to funding for women-owned business is still a limitation. Social norms and stereotypes persist, telling girls which careers are for men and which are for women. Many rural women remain excluded from the mainstream of economy. To empower her, you mean you are able to dismantle these particular barriers. Honorable Speaker, How do we truly empower her? Ourselves as policymakers, we must continue creating enabling environment that prioritizes women's empowerment, not as a charity, but as a smart economy. Private sector leaders must open boardrooms doors, fund women entrepreneurs, and mentor young women. Communities and families must support girls' dreams, encourage education, and challenge outdated stereotypes. Honorable Speaker, men and boys must come to the party. Men and boys must become our allies in this particular journey. Understand that women's empowerment is not a threat, but a path to shared prosperity. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, empower her is not just a theme for Women's Month, it is a long life mission. It is about recognizing that every South African woman is a cornerstone of transformation, whether she is a student, a mother, an entrepreneur, a scientist, a leader, or an artist. When we empower women, we empower South Africa. Let us commit ourselves today to opening doors, breaking barriers, and creating opportunities so that every woman has the freedom to rise to her full potential. Because when she rises, we all rise. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Malibongwe.
Honourable Member Briet. Honourable Member. Hey. Honourable Member. Thank you.
In die NCOP skree hulle vir my hak Vrystaat. So vandag vier ons agbare voorsitter die krag, moed en vasberadenheid van vroue. The theme, Building Resilient Economies for All, speaks directly to our history because resilience is not new to us. It is something our mothers and grandmothers have carried in their being forever. Dit is die vroue van Suid-Afrika wat elke dag brood bak uit niks uit, 'n huis bou uit stof en wat die gemeenskap dra wanneer die regering faal. But Chairperson, today we live in a system where corruption, mismanagement and cadre deployment cripple our economy. Small enterprises, the heartbeat of any resilient economy, receives little to no support. En wie dra die swaarste las? Vrouens, as ma's, as versorgers, as broodwinners. As Olivia Schreiner once said, the woman is the mother of the race, not only of individuals. As sy gebuk gaan onder armoede en onsekerheid, dan ly die hele samelewing. Die statistieke is onmiskenbaar. In 2023 was die werkloosheidskoers in Suid-Afrika vir vroue byna 30%. Teenoor die wêreld en Afrika gemiddeld wat net so by die 8% is. Dit beteken Suid-Afrika se vroue is 3 tot 4 keer meer geneig om werkloos te wees as die wêreld en Afrika gemiddeld. Eswatini en Suid-Afrika staan natuurlik heel bo aan die lys wanneer dit by die kontinent kom. And more worrying still, in mid-2025, the unemployment rate for women in South Africa was 35.9%, compared to the male equivalent of 31%. That is a gender gap of almost 5%. And I can continue with these stats, but the light at the end of the tunnel does not get brighter. The Freedom Front Plus believes that true resilience starts in communities, and I'm so glad that the Honourable Dipolelo also mentioned that. Empowerment of small and medium enterprises by removing excessive red tape needs to be seen. We need to end corruption and mismanagement and have transparent leadership. A renewed focus on skills, vocational training, and entrepreneurship, especially to empower women and our youth. And community partnerships that hold hands with the private sector and civil society need to work together to empower where government cannot. Resilient economies are not built on empty promises. They are built on people that take responsibility. Women have always been the pillars of resilience in the country. We salute you. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honourable Member Leach.
It is the year 1929, and the City of Roses is in full bloom during the month of November. Somewhere amidst the outskirts of the city, a newborn's baby cry firmly announces her arrival. Ke Ngwanyana, a family member shouts with joy. It is a girl. I can only imagine what her mother must have been thinking at the time. Perhaps she thought, what a blessing, a lifelong friend. And perhaps she also thought to herself, my poor child, will you also have to endure the injustices bestowed upon the women of our time? Will you also, like many, be subjected to abuse? Will you be sold off by your family to a man that you don't love? Will you have any choices in life? Will your life have any meaning other than wife, mother, and houseworker? Merely a year before another baby girl, Maya Angelou, was born in Missouri, United States. Her voice never to be silenced. It was that of a woman whose life's mission was not just to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with a little passion, a little compassion, some humor, and with style. Ironically, a statement representative of the little baby girl born on our very own doorstep. A little girl who faced numerous challenges. By the time this little girl was 27 years old, the women of South Africa came together, joined not by race nor by political beliefs, but as a cry for help, a plea to be recognized as a human being, a plea to be offered a seat at the table. It would, however, only be 40 years later that women around the country could bear the fruits of this march and reform. Nonetheless, the little baby girl grew up to become one of the most influential women in the Free State. At the age of 70, she became the Premier of the Free State, and she was furthermore sworn in as Chancellor, making her the very first woman and person of color to hold this position at the University of the Free State. Her name, Winky Dereku, but her fight and her voice were that of many. Her story was one of hope and perseverance, a life lived with meaning. Unfortunately, this prominent woman would not be recognized in her own hometown. During a process where the ANC campaigned for major streets in Mangaung to be changed, the DA proposed that the then Euphues Road be changed to Winky Dereku Avenue, where the former Premier resided. To the contrary, this prominent lady's own party then opted to change it to Kenneth Kaunda, after the former Zambian president. A woman who was part of the struggle was disregarded and overlooked by her own. Therefore, Honourable Speaker, the struggle continues and will remain until such a time that brave men will stand up to level the playing field. I close with the following quote from Amy Morin. Be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without telling the world that it was crooked. Thank you.
Honorable Chabalala. At least you understood what it meant. Harry. Can you?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, we meet during Women's Month, a time to reflect on the struggles, a time to reflect on the struggles and victories of women in South Africa. But we also face a harsh truth. Our economy is still failing women, and if it fails women, it fails everyone. When we speak about building resilient economies for all, we are talking about whether mothers can feed their children, whether young women can find jobs, and whether families can escape poverty. Today, women remain the face of unemployment. Women in rural areas frequently have no land, no support, and no voice in the economy. The Free State's economy relies heavily on agriculture and mining, yet women rarely see these jobs. We must push for policies that prioritize training, hiring, and promoting women in these sectors. An economy that excludes women cannot be resilient. We must create jobs that reach women. Women must be trained, hired, and promoted in the Free State's key industries. Women in rural areas must gain access to land, tools, and markets. Land reform that ignores women is land reforms that fails. We must support women entrepreneurs. If we want resilient local economies, we must fund, protect, and promote women traders and business owners. Finally, corruption and waste must end. Every rand stolen from the people is a rand stolen from women and children. We cannot build a resilient economy when money meant for development ends up in private pockets. Honorable Speaker, building resilient economies for all means putting women at the center of economic life. Until women have land, jobs, equal pay, and real opportunities, there will be no resilient economy in the Free State. In this Women's Month, let us honor women with a radical economic change that lifts women out of poverty and places them at the heart of the economy. Honorable Speaker, Kate Dewehe.
Golson.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We gather here in Women's Month, a time when we pause to reflect on the resilience, sacrifices, and contributions of women in our province and our country. It is also time to acknowledge the challenges that continue to face women and girls in South Africa and to commit ourselves to building a society where dignity, equality, and safety are not privileges, but guaranteed rights. After 1994, our country took bold steps towards reconciliation, social cohesion, inclusive service delivery, and the protection of human rights and freedoms. Yet since 2009, the Free State has been on a downward spiral of destruction, and the burden of this destruction falls most heavily on women, children, and the elderly, the most vulnerable people in our society. I will repeat what I call the 10 Ds of destruction, which have shaped the lives of Free State women in a painful and unjust way. Service delivery collapse has defiled the dignity of our residents, many of whom are women. Our women, children, and elderly are dishonored through crime and corruption. Our communities are destitute due to unemployment and poverty. Our provincial and municipal infrastructure has been destroyed. Basic services are in a state of constant decay because of municipalities that are dysfunctional. Our constitutional rights have been desecrated. The laws of our country are discarded, and GBV and femicide continues unabated. Our towns and local economies have become desolate. Our democratic institutions, who are meant to ensure accountability and oversight, are deprived of resources. Real transformation in terms of improved services and job opportunities in our province have been delayed, at least until we have a new government in this province. These 10 Ds, Honourable Speaker, describe what I would like to call liberation of a special type. A liberation that promised women freedom and equality, but instead delivered betrayal and hardship. The DA has historically been in the forefront of the struggle for rights and freedoms of all South Africans. A leader of the DA's predecessor parties, Helen Suzman, is an example of this. On her 85th birthday celebration in 2002, Nelson Mandela wrote the following words to her, and I quote, "It needs not for us or anyone to sing your praises. Your place is ensured in the history of this country. Your courage, integrity, and principled commitment to justice have marked you as one of the outstanding figures in the history of public life in South Africa." Speaker, I want to repeat that last part, which our former President Nelson Mandela spoke of Helen Suzman. Your courage, integrity, and principled commitment to justice have marked you as one of the outstanding figures in the history of public life in South Africa. And in line with the example of Helen Suzman, we must recognize the courage of our women today who struggle to support families in challenging circumstances. We must encourage integrity among men towards women, and we must ensure justice for the victims of GBV and femicide in our society. In this way, we can ensure that the legacy of many brave women who fought for the rights of women and everyone else in society continues. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Member Premier Raadsaal.
I'm both challenged and fortunate to speak about a goal that is not only urgent but also critical for our collective future, building resilient economies for all, which is the focus of our debate as part of the Women's Month celebration. Over the last few years, the pandemic disrupted global supply system, climate change, exacerbated natural disaster, and geopolitical tensions shook financial stability. These shocks remind us that resilience is not a luxury, but rather a necessity. But what exactly do we mean by resilience, Honourable Speaker? A resilient economy can withstand shocks, adapt to changing conditions, and continue to provide opportunities for its citizens. It is not about avoiding a crisis entirely, but about overcoming them without abandoning the most vulnerable. The glorious movement, the African National Congress, asserted in its 55th National Conference that the main goal of state transformation is, and I quote, building a developmental state that provides effective basic services and has the capacity to advance a far-reaching agenda of national economic development, while at the same time putting people and their participation at the center of this process. To construct such economies, we must focus on several important pillars as outlined in the ANC 2024 manifesto and later embodied in the medium-term development plan, such as inclusive growth and job creation, poverty reduction and addressing high living costs, and the development of a capable ethical state. True resilience, Honorable Speaker, cannot exist in an environment characterized by inequality. Economies must create possibilities for everyone, particularly women and the young. This includes access to education, healthcare, internet connectivity, and a fair pay. With everyone has a stake in the system, when everyone has a stake in the system, societies become stronger and more stable. The seventh administration will ensure that as part of economic inclusion, women have access to and ownership of land. The ownership of land as one of the factors of production will not only empower women, but will also bring about the revolution we need. I've already directed the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure to expedite the valuations of all state-owned properties in our province with the goal of ensuring that women have access to them in order to participate meaningfully in economic activity. And that report is expected next week in our EXCO as part of the agenda. The province accommodation space, whether for office or residential usage, must not be monopolized by men, but must be divided among women to enable their participation in the mainstream economy. Le bona bo mme re ipiletsa ho bona speaker ha re etsa kgweletso ena ya re batla ba bona ba thotse these opportunities tsa land le office tse di mafapha ba batlang rena le bomme e ska ba bomme who just submitted their IDs hore batho ba kgone ho thola tender ya representation of women. Should be women be long hore they are ready hore ba tlo rana on their own where they are joint ventures re kgone ba thusa to transfer skill to stand on their own. Because during the process of bidding, accepting women, put women's name there. But in real terms, those women enjoys to be given a portion than having the skill to stand on their own in future. So we are going to monitor that and make sure that if people partner with these women, they don't exploit these women at the same time, but they build them. Tatema advertised tsela ya hore bo mme ba ikemele batho ba bangata ba ipatlele tšhelete lefapheng la ne la di-tax shop. Ba tla bua le batho ba Freistata tsatsing le ke ba jotse ke kopile ntate Makume hore a e busetse morao a e bule hape hore re fe bo mme chance ya hore ba apply ene le bona ha menyetla e hla ntate Makume ba etse bonnete ba hore di-communities tsa rona di a tseba di ma-councillor di-CDW e mong le mong di-stakeholder research the flyers ko di library nka di pamphlet or batho ba tsebe hore hona le menyetla ena le fape hobane re tla dula re fa batho ba le bang ho fitla le bibile re fa le batho ba sa tshwanelang re ba fe ba seng di South Africans. To establish resilient economies, we must invest in the future, including young people and women in agriculture and agricultural value chain activities. The Honorable MEC for Agriculture, Rural Development and Environmental Affairs, Mme Elsa Birokmen, has already taken a step forward by assisting young farmers and will also increase our assistance for women farmers. Creating an inclusive economy for all is not just the responsibility of government. It involves responsible commercial sector investment, inclusive civil society advocacy, and conscious individual action. We've long remarked that roads are the arteries that connect our economy and that they allow us to build the economy, Honorable Speaker. We'll thus direct the Department of Community Safety, Roads and Transport to not only involve women in road development projects, but also to guarantee they gain the required skills to become viable businesses. The Department of Human Settlement, Honourable Speaker, has its target and allocation of 40% from its Human Settlement Development Grant to ensure allocation of breaking new grounds houses to entities owned by women, youth and people with disabilities. During our term of office, we'll reintroduce the Govern Beki Awards to reward excellence and ethical performance in housing construction, especially for women. As part of development, hodima mo ba ba re jwetsa re batho bana ke ba ho kae. Hobane re batla ho hodisa Freestad. Hobane re batla ho hodisa Freestad. And Speaker, re tshwantse re kene tabeng ena pele re ba le maemo a tshwana le di-provinceng tse ding. Mo e leng hore ha batho ba ya ba lo bid, batho ba lela kwa ho thwe ha se ba kae, re lokisa rona re le government. Ha re tlo ba le situation e leng hore Free State is 80-20, but 20 is Free State beneficiaries. Lefapha le leng le se le itlaleile Speaker ho engwe ya di-program tse ke batlileng ho tseba hore na ba patetse batho ba ba kae selemong sena sa ditjhelete, tjheleteng e kae, ke ba ho kae batho bana. Ke maswabi Speaker, as head of this provincial government, hore ke eme mona ko tsebiso hore to my disappointment le bomme ha ba yo mo. Honourable Speaker, a nation is from not just on its highways, industries or institutions, but also on the power of its people. And in this verge of evolution, women have always been equal partners, despite the fact that their contributions were frequently neglected in the past. Women are the primary teachers in every household. By developing children's values, character and vision, they are shaping the nation's children's values, character and vision, they are shaping the nation's future. Melichi, ore puso e fit so many years aba hudisa, aba pumula, lelisiyo, leona that name, they played a major role. We got those women who carried Banababat for more than 20 years, but suile mone le Banabasna nix. Impane kere, hareka next time, le rejetse rona ki mo mambo ntabise, bo wontswaki, ka rama nalapalo. Obane baba ambalaba, sacrifice ya basadi ya statafela in the struggle. Se kopani nitsona during those times when they were employed and be paid, kalanchi they used to have confit and a slice of bread, karle bikiri la coffee, and hauna mutu ashamed of that. As much as you go back to your history, you forget to tell us how you ill-treated some of these women. Balamatlisa dignity in your houses, carried that you trusted so much that you can leave your own family, your own grannies, your kids with them. Lebo now we must find a way of honoring them. Women, Speaker, as mothers, daughters, teachers, leaders and entrepreneurs encourage society to progress through compassion, perseverance and determination. On 9 August 1956, around 20,000 courageous women of all races marched to the Union Building in Pretoria. And remember that time, technology in Elisio, but they managed to organize themselves. They marched in defiance of harsh pass restrictions designed to limit movements of black South Africans. These women, mothers, workers, leaders, and regular residents stood up and declared in unison, watinta bafazi, watintimba koto pasopa, wena straight on, uzokufa. The march was more than just a protest. It was a statement of resilience, solidarity, and strength. It serves as a reminder that women are not passive observers in history, but active shapers of society. Women in the Free State, including Wame A.S. Khabashani, Kotsi Katilo, Georgina Taibosh, Budisa Pule, and Katharina Simons were already organizing against past laws as far as 1893. Women's Month is so more than just a celebration of the past. It is a call to action for the present and future. It encourages us to think about how far we have come in promoting women's rights and opportunities. And how can each of us help to build a society in which gender equality is a reality than an aspiration. While we are challenged with different social issues, we must acknowledge the progress accomplished since 1994. South Africa has one of the highest percentage of women even in parliament. Women are taking the lead in government, business, science, sports, and the arts, as Mayor Dibulele has alluded to. More girls are attending schools and universities than ever before. However, we must be honest about the remaining problems. Gender-based violence remains a dark cloud over our communities. To highlight the government's commitment to combating GBVF, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa proclaimed GBV a pandemic. We have implemented a variety of policies to protect women and children. The 2007 Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Act aims to review and amend all aspects of sexual offences. Honourable Speaker, I would like to ask the honourable members sitting on my left, with exception, are they just funded to have this money create their own jobs and their families, but not making any impact in our society? It is the task of the 7th administration to make sure that we assist the Department of Social Development to lead in that, follow the money, and make sure that these people really, these beneficiaries are being attended to. Honourable Speaker, as we celebrate Women's Month, we must face challenges with courage. To the women of the Free State, you are the foundation upon which families, communities, and the nations are created. You bear the burdens of effort and the hopes of generation. You exemplify resilience, compassion, and leadership. Nonetheless, you are so much more than your challenges. You are innovators, educators, healers, business owners, and visionaries. Let us support one another, teach our children about respect and equality, and guarantee that women's views are heard and at all decision-making tables. As we commemorate Women's Month, let us not only honor the heroes of the past, but also pledge to be the heroines of today. Each of us has a responsibility to play in tearing down barriers, challenging stereotypes, and creating spaces for women to succeed. Today in democratic South Africa, women's role have expanded dramatically. Speaker, ke kopa fela o leboha maponesa a rona South Africa haholo provinceng ya rona ya Free State hore ebe hona jwale tjena re na le di cases tse leng hore re thotse di life sentences ka di perpetrators tsena tsa GBV. Mme ke re le mo di family tse ding di disappointed. Speaker, and bekeng ene fitileng we heard about 3 cases tse leng hore di family tsa teng ha di a kgotsofala ban there's lack of evidence. Re tlo ba thusa ho ya pele ho fihlela ba thola justice. Thank you very much. A nation cannot progress if half of its population is disregarded. Empowering women empowers family, community, and the entire country. However, empowerment involves more than just possibilities. It also encompasses respect, equality, and safety. When women are given equal opportunity to grow, no obstacle can prevent this province and country from achieving it. Ke a leboha, Speaker.
Thank you. The debate by the Honourable Premier concludes the business of the House today. Honourable members, we're having a memorial service today for the Honourable Member Mkhabela at 2 o'clock in this building. All members are invited, where leaders of political parties will pass their messages of condolences, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Speaker. The House is now adjourned.